Hello, everyone. Rod and Jeff and everyone else already over there on YouTube. Welcome. I love seeing our early birds on here ready to go. We are going to get started in just about 8 minutes. If you are not on YouTube and you're on the live stream page, I do recommend that you take a moment, head on over to YouTube. It's a lot more interactive with the chat ability and feedback there, and it's important that you do utilize that comment section throughout the event today. So head on over there now if you haven't already, and we'll be getting started shortly. So excited to have you all here. Hey RC, hello, welcome Raymond, and oh my goodness, some of you guys have some heat waves going through, raking in the last of that summer heat, 88, 91, my goodness. We're excited to have you all here. Be sure if you're not on the YouTube to head on over there now. I highly recommend it. It's a little bit more interactive for feedback during the event today. So if you're on the live stream, you can head on over to YouTube. There's an option right on the page you're on to help you get there. Otherwise, we're gonna get started in just a few minutes. Well, officially, welcome to our broadcast, everyone. We are so excited to have you all here. There are a couple of things I want to let you know because I see quite a few new partners on for their first broadcast with us. There are 3 ways to watch the broadcast today. If you are on the live stream page, I do recommend heading on over to YouTube. You can watch on YouTube, Facebook, or the web page. However, YouTube does have the highest resolution. You can watch in real time, use that Q&A, which is really great, and we'll get to that in a second. Provide feedback and everything during the call. So head on over there now so you don't miss any of the content in the meantime. The page you're on right now does have an option to show you how to get to the YouTube. Now, I do also want to remind everyone the reason we want your feedback, your interactive ability, adding comments and questions and things throughout the event is those who are following our Facebook page have followed our YouTube and liked and subscribed there, as well as interactive during the event, meaning putting your comments in, asking your questions, giving us feedback along the way. It does get you entered in a kit giveaway. So head on over to YouTube now so you can use all of those abilities. Make sure you're subscribed there and we'll get you entered. Now, today's event is all about over 30 new tax credits, and I don't want to give too much away, so I'm going to go ahead and bring in our experts and hand things off to Ryan and Kendra.
Thanks, Heather. Well, welcome everyone to our first broadcast of the fall. We're excited to be here. I'll tell you, while I'm going over the intro, I'm curious if this is your first or second broadcast. Let us know in the comments. I just want to know how many new people we have, so we kind of know what to cover. And Kendra, you can, kind of throw those up as you see them. Like to say hi to some of the new folks. So, do we have anyone?
Got a lot of comments on Heather's hair today.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what we're going to be covering today. We're excited. ERC's replacement is here. If you're new and you don't know what ERC is, that's for another time. But ERC was one of the biggest tax incentives, to ever come to the tax industry. And the replacement is here. Now, here's the good news. It's not being replaced, Kendra, by one. And it's being replaced by over 30 programs. And that's really what you want to see. You don't want one pedestal under the table. Instead, you want to have 30 different legs to kind of prop something up. Now, the best part is, unlike ERC, the programs we're talking about today, these have lifetime residual, which means you're bringing a client one time, Kendra, and you're going to get paid over and over and over again. Now, the last part I want to say, and I'm excited about this, is that it's a quick turnaround process. We're talking for some of these credits anywhere from 10 to 90 days for actually most of these credits to take effect. Today, we're going to be talking a lot about R&D. Now, Kendra, we talked about this last month.
We did.
That was our focus.
And everyone did so well. I want to pull in some examples of the types of clients we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks, just so you guys can kind of wrap your head around what we're looking at and why it's so important.
I was worried you guys were still going to be on vacation, but you went to work. I think you understood the urgency of this. And so these are clients. Let me explain. They're new within the last month. But they're not all the way through production yet. So as we share commission numbers and everything, that's maybe the advisor's only been paid a portion of that. And this is on the total fee as it comes in.
Right.
So,
We're going to take a look at a couple of them. And keep in mind, I want you to be thinking about these in terms of maybe the types of clients or types of businesses you may see in your area. This one's a food processing and packaging plant. I believe it's located out in California. They had an amazing credit of $1.2 million. That's great. They're on the medium size for that type of plant. I think they have about 250 employees and they're owned within a partnership. So the next question, if I were you as partners and advisors, I would be asking myself is, if the benefit for a size company of this nature is 1.2 million, like how much am I going to be making, right?
Congratulations, John.
Yeah. He made, or will make, I should say, when he's all said and done, $42,000 as a direct correlation for the commission to this client where they're at with R&D. And, it's just, I have a lot of information up in the background on the screen about the types of companies, because I want to be able to answer your guys' questions. Like, these guys have only been around since 2002. So they're not like generational. They're owned by 3 partners and they specialize in organic and gluten-free foods. So, kind of basic
Yeah.
for what we're looking at nowadays, this type of food processing. But that company in and of itself, they got $1.2 million.
Yeah. Now
That is huge.
Sorry, I want to explain this commission for just a moment, what we mean by this. So with R&D, what happens is typically we're doing part of the study right away, like within weeks. And then part of the study might take a month or so for us to do. And then it takes, 60, 90 days for the IRS to send a check. So part of this, John already received, and then the other part will come in over the next month and a half. I like to give clarity because I normally don't like to future cast commissions, but in these cases, the documentation's already filed. It's just a matter of the check arriving from the IRS. So I don't mind sharing the whole story. So yes, this is a client that's been in with us less than a month. And, again, $42,000 in commission. Congratulations. And guess what? Next year, more money, because this is a residual program. Let's take a look at a few more that have come in the last few weeks. Now, this is one everybody has in your backyard, and that's Kendra Tool and Die Companies.
Tool and Die. There's a dime a dozen. When you're driving down those industrial parkway alleyways is what I call them, and they're everywhere in the backs of little, towns and countries. That's the type of businesses you're seeing back there. Tool and Die. This one is actually close by. It's here in Michigan. They have a benefit of $438,000. They're relatively small, but I think average for this type of business, about 85 employees. They've been around for a while, about 45 years, and they're family owned, as is kind of typical when you're looking at businesses like this size, and they've been around that long. Now, again, $438,000. How much is Jackson going to make?
Yeah, Jackson's been around for a while. He's got numerous clients here.
Yep. Jackson's going to make about 15 grand. Now,
Yeah.
that's not too snazzy. I can take a pretty good vacation on 15 grand.
Yeah.
Or pay my bills for a month or so. So Jackson's going to do pretty well with this client. And like Ryan mentioned earlier, this is just the first iteration of commission that he'll receive on this client. And I want to point something out. They're a tool and die company who's here in Michigan and are new to us, which in my mind, I may be wrong, so don't quote me on this, but in my mind, that means they're either relatively new to R&D or completely new to R&D, which is kind of hard to comprehend when you think they've been around for 50 years almost, and they've not taken the R&D tax credit or have done so at much limited type of level. And now they're with us and they're getting such an impactful level. So this is important to keep in mind. You can't assume because a business is generational, it's been around for 20 plus years, oh, they're fine. They must be taking the R&D tax credit. That's just not the case. This company, literally been around as long as I've been alive. And this is the first time they're actually going to be working with a substantial R&D credit.
Now, I got to talk to Jackson about this, the advisor here, and he went on to originally approach the director of operations, and that's how he was able to get in. So he had no relationship with the owner. This isn't somebody he goes to church with or anything like that. He just reached out to the director of operations. They weren't taking the credit. He was excited by last month's training and went out there and, kind of reminded him, he's got a bunch of R&D clients, reminded him that, this stuff's right in his backyard. Next one I want to take a look at, another thing, everyone's got dozens, if not hundreds of these on your way to your local restaurant. And that's an industrial park that has manufacturing plants. So, same thing here. We've got, I can't ever pronounce Lauren's name. Is it Lauren or is it
Lorraine?
Lorraine.
I know.
I'm so
it's
sorry.
Not Lorraine and it's not Lauren. It's Lorraine.
Every time I share one of your clients, I massacre your name, and I'm sorry. You deserve better because you show up on the board often.
I actually thought she was a male because I'm like, oh, that must be like a male version. No, she schooled me, and it's Lorraine, and it's a beautiful name. So I apologize when I messed it up as well.
Sorry about that. This is Ohio. This is also right in our
backyard.
Yeah, our backyard. So manufacturing client, tell us about this one.
$726,000 benefit to the client. They have about 120 employees, been around for 35 years. So not too new, not too old. Again, family owned and operated. And her benefit is going to be about $25,000. So not bad at all. I believe they make like industrial machinery and parts for both the automotive industry, of course, in this area, as well as aerospace. So great company, been around since 89, if I'm doing my math right. Still run by the family. And again, keep in mind, a manufacturer who's been around for 35 years, they're new to us, which could translate to the fact that they're all new to the R&D tax credit. They just don't think that they qualify, and or it's going to be too difficult, or I don't have the time to look at that. So keep that in mind when you're out there looking for potential clients. This next one, Ryan, you're very excited about?
Yeah, I love software companies. It's nice to see some of you latched onto those. So we've got a bunch of software companies that are in. This one's already got a first payment out, so wanted to highlight it. So this one's in Texas, and here's where software is so great. You know, a deal isn't equal to a deal isn't equal to a deal. So you could have a software company that's, you know, relatively small with, you know, maybe even 10 or 20 or 30 employees and have it generate more credit or more commission to you than, say, a manufacturer that might, you know, be 5-6 times its size. So this client right here, we're able to get $1.8 million. Kendra talked to us about the details a little bit. This is from Jennifer. By the way, if I'm keeping count here, girls are kind of schooling the guys here, and I'm not going to share our demographics, but I'm just going to say guys are
time
larger.
To step up a little bit.
Guys, you're beating the viewership, but girls in the commission examples here, you're kind of schooling the guys so far. I'm just noticing that if we're keeping score a little bit.
Yeah,
guys got to get out there.
Like Ryan said, a great benefit to the client at 1.8 million. They've been around 12 years. They have just under 150 employees, and her commission is going to be $63,000. That is not bad at all. I want to go with Jennifer on her next closing. They make, I think, some kind of AI powered supply chain management way above my head. They gave me like a great explanation when I actually, I called this one to talk to them, kind of get a background on the company because I was really excited about it. Great, their operations is a woman again. Sorry, guys. Great conversation with her anyway. And they were super excited to bring the credit in because it allows them to actually open up a new side off directional. She's really fancy words. Anyway, they're gonna be able to bring in a whole nother team to build out their software even further. So they're very excited about that. And I'm sure Jennifer is as well. Last one I want to talk about is an engineering firm. And I did put this one last on purpose. Engineering or A&E, they can kind of get a little interchangeable, but sometimes we don't really understand what we're looking for. This company did pretty well at a benefit of $550,000. They're out in New York. Matt, congratulations. They got a great benefit, 550,000. Am I reading that right? 550,000. Yes, thousand. They've been around for about 18 years. Their partnership, 65 employees. They do like building design, structural engineering.
Yeah, they were architectural engineering. The same kind of company that you see anytime you see new construction go up. Mm-hmm. So they do the design
Every
work
area
and
has
things like that.
somebody like this within their county or next to like several businesses that do all the engineering anytime there's new builds and stuff. So great type of company to look for. We have them everywhere. Not huge, 65 employees. That's small organization. Got a great benefit. And Matt's going to take home just under 20 grand. So congratulations, Matt. Yay. The reason for us to take a look at these is for you to really understand and wrap your head around the magnitude that R&D can bring, not only in benefit to our client, we're not underscoring that, that's huge to their bottom line, but the benefit to you in commission. That's substantial. And
I'm
honestly,
skip ahead to the next slide here. Lifetime residual. I want to tell you, and for those of you that were on Jason and I's calls last week, he put me on the spot and I shared this a little bit. I think I've shared it on previous things as well. I've had clients that I signed up over 20 years ago, and I'm actually going to be sharing that at our upcoming R&D SWAT. But I'm a horrible account manager because I don't ever follow up. I don't reach out to these folks or anything. But every year, first quarter, they just renew. And I, receive money on them. Now, the other thing I want to say is the numbers that you just saw, that's what you're going to make. That's what they're making the first hit. The follow-up years are not that large, like anything in residual. Dependent, I would say a good kind of rule of thumb is they're about a third.
Right.
So you'll make 3 times as much in the current year as you would going forward. And that's for complexities I don't want to get into, but I don't want you to think, oh, that last example, they're making, $63,000 a year. No, they'll make $63,000 and then they'll probably make about $20,000 a year. Just as a spitball.
With that, though, do you?
No. And that's what I'm saying. I would say on the low end for my clients that I brought in, maybe on the low end, a commission might be $6,200. That I would make on one of the clients I signed up 20 years ago. The other thing I'll tell you is that clients don't leave. The only reason that someone goes anywhere, from my personal experience, and I've had R&D clients for over 20 years, is either that they go out of business or they get swallowed up by a large Chinese conglomerate and you can't even, well, one, I'm just really bad account manager, so maybe I could have gotten the deal. But the other is sometimes you can't even get a hold of who the new company is, or they'll swallow them up and then close them 6 months later, for whatever reason, consolidation. Those are the only times I lose clients. Other than that, I'm still earning, a really good income just on the clients that I signed over 20 years ago. And actually, in an upcoming SWAT, I'll be sharing how I got my first base of business, literally how I went from 0 clients to, too much that I could handle, literally in the period of really just 6 months. And I'm going to share that formula with you a little bit. But Kendra, I love these because they're lifetime residual.
These are the best clients to have, honestly.
Now, this time of year right now is really important. Okay. And you might say, well, wait a minute, Ryan, I heard you say that in February. Yes, because it was true in February and it was true in March and it was true in April. And then, but this is the larger season. And, Kendra, talk about that a little bit so people understand some of the deadlines and things that we're upon and how that impacts things. I always
get that question from newer partners.
Yeah, we're not in tax season.
Right. We're not in tax season.
It's
tax
September.
Season is April 15th. Well, for reality for most people, it's April 15th. For our structure and what we do for clients, it's right now. And that's because most of our clients have extended, which means that they're going to be due September 16th, I believe. Yeah, because there's a Sunday in there. And then October 15th.
Yeah, if you owe money, you're not going to pay it in April. You're going to file an extension because you don't have the money.
Try to find a way in between to figure out how to pay that. And these are people like Ryan just gave this away. Who tends to file for this quarter? It's people who owe. You didn't extend if you had everything in order and didn't owe anything back in April. You took care of your taxes back then and you moved on. These people owe. And to kind of wrap your mind around like what type of influx that is, this is a quick breakdown. And those of you who've been around for years have seen me share this before. This is each quarter of the year. First, second, third, and fourth. We're in third quarter. Do you see third quarter is the darkest and the highest?
This is our revenue, and this repeats every single year.
Right.
This is our high. So you think January through April, that's when we make most of our money, but it's not.
It's not.
Right now is when we make between now and really October 15th. But even then, if you look, October 15th through December 31st, just barely less than main tax season.
So this is why I share this with you, so you can understand that we are coming up on the busiest time of year and tax bills are going to people's houses. And when they go to people's houses, they can cause some issues, right?
Yeah. People think that, these are work issues, but they're not. When you're a partnership, an S Corp, an LLC, which most of our clients are, the physical tax bill comes to the physical mailbox, and this is waiting for them when they get home.
When you come home and your partner's like, hey, this yellow piece of paper came today. It says we owe like tens of thousands of dollars. What the heck? Like, what's going on with this? Yeah. And so it just causes a lot of anxiety, stress, frustration. And there's something you need to keep in mind. You were talking to these people all year and they didn't have time for you. You were an intrusion. They didn't have time. They literally just pushed you to the side because they were focused on their business. They were focused on the things that they had to do in that moment. Well, in this moment, they just got news that they owe tax money, liability. What are they doing right now? They're trying to find a solution to that problem. And if you're thinking, oh, well, because I reached out to them earlier in the year, then they're going to remember me and I'm going to be on their mind. I'm so sorry to break it to you. They're not. They are not going to remember you, even though you're quite important, but they're receptive right now. And you're the solution. So that leaves you having to do something in
when you
this
talk
moment.
to them, you went out there and pitched them, understand as the average restaurant owner, you know how many reservations they've taken, how many people they've hired and fired since then. Like, you are not forefront of their mind. I wish you were. It would be nice if they got in their Gmail and searched for your name.
I think somebody talked to me about this a couple months ago. It's not. I'm sorry. We all want to think that we're that important, but we're just not. So you did lay a foundation previously, which means you need to act right now.
Yeah.
And Ryan, I think that you want them to do something maybe specific.
I do. Yeah. For the next 90 days, we'll be explaining why. You just need to be all about R&D. You need to eat, sleep, and breathe R&D. You need to be talking about R&D. That's why last month we're trying to equip you with R&D knowledge, who you should go after and everything, because this is all you need to be focused on.
I do want to interrupt you because I know that there's a lot of partners going, wait a minute, Ryan, you have told us in the past that we are not to focus on just one service.
Yeah.
Right? Someone call you out for them because I know there's some of them saying it.
You're right. You should be, normally I say you should be product agnostic. But right now you can't afford to be. And that's okay, because when you go focus on R&D, you're going to get all the other services, but there's also some timeline issues with these new tax credits that some of them are expiring December 31st. So we're under a tight deadline that, you would get out there and do that. And I'm going to show the economics of that, I think in 3 or 4 slides, but Kendra, I do want you to continue on and talk a little bit about, and I see several questions here.
I actually shared that because I want, Henry's just nailed something that I didn't mention. And we're saying, you got to get out there. You got to work. You got to do this. And I always say this, so I didn't bring it up. So thank you, Henry. He says, for a touch point perspective, you need to reach out 7 to 9 times over a week or week and a half. He is absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And you guys, you need to be that busy over the next period of time.
I would rather you talk to the same 20 clients and touch each of them 10 times than people that think, I'm going to touch 300 clients once. I'm telling you, you have infinitely better success if you go, listen, I heard somebody say this. I wish I could give proper person credit. Bug them until they cancel you, until they tell you to leave them alone. Because here's the thing, if they weren't going to buy, what does it matter anyway? So just keep bugging them. Just keep going through. Now, Kendra, we're going to teach a little bit about the R&D, but I got to preface. This sounds bad.
Wish I didn't have to do this, but
you don't need any of what we're about to say, but you'll go Google it on your own. And
so I figured we'd touch on it, but the point of today's broadcast is not this quick. And I am literally going to fly through this because they don't want you focused on this. We did an intense training last month. You guys have training on R&D everywhere if you need it, but quickly we're going to cover this just so that it's out of the way and you guys are good. So R&D tax credit established in 81 at the federal level. It was made permanent with the PATH Act in December of 2015, right? Yeah, 2015. Permanent, guys. So keep that in mind. We're going to talk about that later. It is a dollar for dollar reduction to federal tax liability. Most of the time comes back in a physical check to our client. Hundreds of individual industries and individual businesses qualify for this credit because it's been extended so well. And something I've never really talked about before, but as a company, we look at in the background, there are over 39 states that have individual R&D tax credits. So keep that in mind as well. Basically, businesses that do this type of work, manufacturing, fabrication, engineering, design, prototyping. That's all you need to know on this slide. Nothing more. I'm not even going to talk about the words that are on the other side of the screen. So you're talking about new products and processes, new concepts, technologies.
A company that does any
software,
of these.
Tool and dies. Do you guys see?
This is an or, not an and list.
Yeah,
I can't stress that
side,
enough.
You're seeing those businesses that we talked about earlier when we were going through the examples. They're all right there. You can clearly see what we're talking about when we're talking about the types of businesses you should be going after. 4-part test. I don't even want to talk about it because I don't want you focused on it. It is simply a determination factor that the IRS uses to qualify for research and development tax credit. I have to mention it so you guys know that we know what we're talking about. That's all I'm going to say about it. I don't want you Googling it. I don't want you trying to explain it to clients because that's not your place. Leave it in the background. We're going to show you where this happens in the process. So this is not something you need to know. You need to even care about, because if you care about it, you're going to start spending too much information, too much energy on this and not enough energy on getting your clients.
Well, let me show you where
that
was good. I like that. And listen, if you want more, then watch last month's broadcast because we spent 20 minutes on the technicalness of it. Let me show you where this falls into the process though. So when you bring a client in and they start using the tax management system, once they're in, we're going to take their company through the 4-part test through that. Notice it's not during the sales process. It's not during client acquisition process. Okay.
Which is where you belong in the process.
Yeah. And here's why, because you might say, why bring a client in if they're not going to qualify? Well, remember that the tax management system looks at literally over 100 local, state, and federal tax incentives. So even if there's one credit that the 4-part test knocks them out of, each credit has its own criteria. And I'll go even further. A lot of the states' programs have their own criteria. So maybe they don't qualify at a federal level, but they qualify for 2 or 3 state programs.
Really good point, Ryan.
So it's not don't don't
Don't do
go
our job
Google.
for us.
Yeah, don't go Google R&D and then say, well, I was talking to this cabinetry maker and, based on what I'm seeing here, I don't really think they'd qualify. Well, right, but there might be a state program they qualify for. There might be another federal program. That's what our system's for. And I would go, I like that you said our job. It's not even a job us as humans can do because there's so many programs. That's where the algorithm comes in. That's what we need to be doing. So you want to qualify? I will make it simple for you. Do they do something like what we just talked about? And let me back up a few slides here.
I went through it fast.
What I mean
Right
by
there.
that is this. Do they do fabrication, manufacturing, engineer, design, prototyping? I'm going to add software. Do they do something manufacturer-y or software-y or technically?
I'm going to share a point too.
Go ahead.
Isn't knowing too much and trying to explain to the
Yes.
potential client, turn the client away. Absolutely.
Ladies.
Elizabeth, you nailed it.
Ladies, you're getting it today. So, and there was also, I don't know if it was Jeff or Frank, but had some
Yeah,
great
the
points
similar.
also. Yes. So, if they do something in the general manufacturing realm or the general tech realm, software, anything like that, that's all you're looking for. Okay. So that's all you're looking for. You're not disqualifying. Here's the second. Go ahead.
Just popping them up there. You can keep rolling.
Here's the second part of the criteria. So, Kendra, criteria number one, if I was meeting with you, I would say,
any employees that do this type of work? Yeah, actually, we do that kind of work.
The second thing I would do and go through is say, and you got to ditch that comment there so I can read.
Can't take it down. There it is.
There it is. Oh, there it goes. So really, if we show up with bags of money, in other words, if I can get you a check from the IRS, can you use it?
Is there going to be any client out there that says no to that question?
Yeah. So in the last 4 years, have you been profitable? Any of them? And if not, will you be profitable in the next few years? Okay, really, we're talking about here a 7-year swing. I don't know about you, but any companies that aren't profitable for 7 years straight, that's called bankruptcy. And so I don't really think that we're not seeing, well, I think a lot of those got flushed out already is kind of what I'm struggling to say.
And this is profitable in the US. So that answers a couple of people's question. What if my business, what if they manufacture overseas, blah, blah. This is a dollar for dollar tax reduction, a reduction to tax liability for federal taxes. Okay. That means US. Okay, guys.
So I'm going to take a few questions and keep them rolling. The first one, are architectural engineering firms, Kendra, good candidates for R&D?
By the example that we looked at, absolutely 100%.
Yeah. I'm going to come back to the second one. I
used it as one of the top examples to look at today. So absolutely.
How does a tool and die company qualify? Well,
qualify or utilize? I think he's saying qualify.
I think he's saying qualify. Yeah. So I just want to go through right here. Do they manufacture anything? Yes. Do they fabricate anything? Yes. Is engineering part of their process? Designing, prototyping?
Yes.
Do they new product processes? So a tool and die company meets a lot of the criteria there. So really good question there.
More of the types of work that they say yes to, the higher the benefit becomes, because that means the individual actions or activities by the employees, more of them within the business perform those, which means they get a higher benefit. So that's why tool and die manufacturers so highly qualified, because a majority of the employees are actually out there performing those activities.
Is quality assurance considered an R&D activity? Yes, a major part of it is. So good question there. The other one I want to cover, and Heather, I'm going to screen share for this one for a minute. Who do you talk to? So Heather, flip over to my screen share. I want to show you guys something. So YouTube. There we go. So if you go over to our YouTube channel under videos, under lives, actually. So Kendra, I think it's one word that changes everything. No, seal the deal. Live role play. Here it is right here. I want to show you guys this because I've seen this comment several times, and it is, what do I say? Who do I talk to? You want to go watch this. So it's live role play. And I can just tell you so that you're not bored with 2 hours of us. At the 34-minute mark, I walk you through exactly what to say to someone you have a relationship with and someone that's more cold. And we actually did this cool thing that I want to show you where I'm using my iPad and I'm walking. Kendra's the client. I'm the advisor and I'm using my iPad and I'm walking through, and you get to see on the screen how I'd close a client, how I would script. So if you're like, I just don't know what I would say, good news, Kendra was a manufacturer in these examples. And so I walk through and I show you how I would close a manufacturer if they were cold, and you get to see everything that's on my screen. It's kind of weird. At least I'm not wearing the same shirt. That's good news.
My hair's the same.
Yeah. So check that out. Let me show you where that is again on our YouTube channel, which should be on the page you're watching right now, under live. And it was Seal the Deal live role play for any scenario. So yeah, I would check that out and go do that. Heather, you can flip us back to slides if you would. So good question there. Those are all the questions I'm going to take for now. So let's keep going. So again, you're not qualifying or disqualifying someone. What you're doing is you're seeing, Kendra, do you do any of these things? And how are you going to do that? You're going to do that on .me. Okay, go watch the video. I'll show you how to do it. Don't even get into this part 2. I'm just telling you so that you don't go disqualify clients. But don't even really, this is all you need to worry about is,
do you perform these activities?
Yeah.
Any of these types of activities? Sure, we do. Okay, let's get this taken a look at for you.
Yeah. Now, before I talk about the federal opportunity, Kendra, you mentioned that there's a bunch of states
there are
that have individual state
and
programs.
Some of you have made yourself pretty familiar with this. And do not tell me that I'm wrong, because some of you guys like to say, hey, this is wrong, blah, blah. The map is actually correct as of last Friday.
And because we had a bunch of new ones.
Yeah. One in specific is here in the state of Michigan. Michigan, as big as we are in the manufacturing industry, has never had a state R&D tax credit. There's one signed in January, which means this coming January, our clients get to start benefiting from that credit, which is amazing. I can't wait. We've got clients we've had for years who are now going to get a federal and a state credit, which means, and this answers someone's question, you also get commission on the state credit. You get a commission on anything we get the client a benefit for. So if you get them a federal benefit, you get a commission on that. If we get them a state benefit, you get the commission on that. And the reason, I can't go through them because each state is very individualized and very distinct. They vary in terms of eligibility, credit amounts, and specific requirements. But basically what we're talking about is over 39 tax credits that are now open to every one of you to be able to draw in and bring those clients even further. And I did want to point out, sorry, ran out of breath there. This is something that's specifically going to be covered in our SWAT group. Again, there's a slow mention of it. That's going to be coming up. This SWAT group is going to be so beneficial for everyone. We're not going to go into the details and things of the state credits right now, because this is going to be something that we pull into the SWAT group.
Sounds good. I want to do one thing. It's impromptu here. So you guys see the gray states. So those are the ones that don't have a state credit. They might have local credits, by the way, but they don't have a endorsed state credit to kind of match.
Ryan, I want to say this is specific to R&D state tax.
Yeah, they have
credit.
other state credits.
There's other state credits that may not be specific to R&D that we still look at for our clients, but just doesn't mean R&D.
Okay. So anyways, what I want to do. So first of all, I want you to recognize this has nothing to do with blue and red states. Okay. So, and that's because, and we'll talk about this in a second, but this is endorsed on both sides of the aisle. But there's another fun thing I want to do. So Heather talked earlier about giving away a marketing kit. I'm going to give away a marketing kit right now. It's a little pop quiz. Okay. So get your keyboards ready. I'm going to ask a question. The first person in the comments to name the 13 states that don't have a credit. It's right there in front of you, by the way. Heather, go ahead and make that larger. So there's 13 gray states. Let's see who knows their geography. The first person, we're going to ship a basic marketing kit to you for free. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, I was right. First person to name the 13 states.
I know all but 2 of them. And those 2, I think I had flip-flopped.
Oh, come on, people.
Let's go, guys. Come on.
No, not
one at a time. You got to get them all.
Give us the list.
Remember the song Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas?
Nope, you got to name all. Let's see.
Here's one.
But somebody else is going to have to fact check
South
besides
Dakota,
me.
Oklahoma, Indiana. Nope, not Indiana.
Okay, fact check. Is that one right? Is Charles our winner?
I don't think so because Indiana isn't. I believe Indiana has.
Okay.
Heather, can you have somebody check bills? And
I'll put Bill's up. Is Bill's correct, everybody? Someone tell me why, if Bill's not correct, tell me what Bill's not correct about, by the way.
He doesn't have Montana. I'm sorry, he doesn't have Nevada. Yep,
Okay.
he doesn't have Nevada.
The next entry was Doug.
Nevada, Montana, Utah, Missouri, Oklahoma, Tennessee, North Carolina. What's G-O? Georgia? Michigan? Nope. Michigan does. West Virginia. He got a lot of them, but Michigan definitely has one. Remember, I just talked about that a few minutes ago.
If I'm wrong, and
he Googled that because a lot of the Google chats will tell you that Michigan does not have. If you Google it, they're actually not up to date because
Ed was our next entry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Nevada, Oklahoma.
By the way, if I disqualified anybody above, please, and I was wrong, let me know in the comments.
I'm pretty sure Ed has it. I'll have to double check it, but I think Ed is our winner.
Okay. We're going to, before you can bring the camera back, Heather. So we think Ed, so Heather, document that.
We will double check though, everybody.
We can see this and then we will make sure the right person. Sorry. I guess I probably should have known the answer to that before I threw a
I have
trivia
them
game
written
out there.
down. I just don't have that in front of me right now.
Yeah. So the point is that, listen, if you're in Florida, if you're in Texas, if you're in California, you see these, if you're in Georgia, these states not only have credits, but they have some of the largest credits. I wish I could kind of I'm going to say those again from left to right. California, Texas, Georgia, Florida. These are some of the largest credits in the country. Now, the reason a state credit, just in case people aren't putting this together, because I don't know if they are, Kendra, the reason a state credit is important is because, so let's say you go get someone $100,000 in a federal credit. And so we charge them a fee based on that $100,000. Well, let's say the state also has a program and maybe it's another $50,000 or maybe it's $120,000 like California, where sometimes the state credit actually exceeds the federal. Then that means that now instead of getting that client $100,000 and charging a fee on $100,000, that same client that you had the same amount of work involved in, Kendra, now all of a sudden our fee is based on 150 or 200 or 220 grand, same amount of work on your part. We had to do extra forms and things like that. But as far as you go, client acquisition. So basically in these states, all but the few here, you get paid more to do the same amount of work. Exactly. Is really what that comes down to.
Bonus commission is what I call it.
And this does not matter who gets elected.
We had to fix that.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah. That's how much effort. No, that was bad.
No.
That's how much effort was put into making the change.
I thought it was funny. So it
doesn't matter who.
It doesn't matter because it was made permanent, as I mentioned, by the PATH Act in 2015. R&D is around to stay. Everybody wants it here. Granted, a new group coming in may change up some of the incentives a little bit, but the dollar amount and how to apply for all that, it's just going to stay the same.
Yeah.
So if you get the feeling, and sometimes you as partners and advisors, like, I need to wait and see
I've seen this question of like,
going to be.
What's going to happen? The R&D tax credit's been universally supported by both sides of the aisle for decades. And again, I'll go back to, if you look at the estate, it has nothing to do with red or blue, whether or not they have one or not. They're going with that either way. So no matter what, there's a bunch of money that needs to be distributed and you get to do this. And I want you to understand what I mean by that, Kendra, when we say you get paid to distribute this money.
Right. Now, I was going to say, not only do you get to do it, you get paid to do it. Yeah. So that's a huge incentive.
When PPP came out, you have to understand that there was a period of time where they basically said, wrong camera, there we go. So when PPP came out, what they did was they said, hey, we've got this program, we've got this money, and we want to distribute it. How are we going to do it? They went like this, and they decided, hey, we're going to do it through like almost an SBA type channel. We're going to lean in on the financial institution. That's how we're going to distribute it. When it came to these programs that we're talking about, all the new programs have rolled out. I mean, Michigan, of all places, is finally rolling out a state level credit. And so when it comes to all of these programs, they said, hey, we've got this money. We need to get it out there. What's the mechanism in which we're going to do this? They chose tax forms that happen to be in our tax management system. I have no better way to say that. Like literally, just like with ERC, one day they said, how we've voted on this program, how are we going to distribute the money? And they said, we're going to do it on form number, blah, blah, blah. And that was a form that we were already doing inside of our tax management system for other state level credits that we were doing. Okay. And so the moment that they launched ERC, we were an ERC provider. We didn't have to become one. We already were one. Well, with these 30 plus credits that we're talking about that have rolled out across the country, some federal, some state level, we're already a provider. You're already a provider. They're already in your tax management system. We have updated them effective today. And I'll show you that by the end of the call so you can see how you can drive traffic to them. But what this looks like, and here's why I told you that you've got to buckle down and focus on this, is, Heather, let's make this just kind of a bigger screen. Thank you. So what's going on out there is that there's $20 billion in federal money that's available. And we just showed you the kind of client that qualifies: manufacturing, fabrication, engineer, software. Are there other people that qualify? Yes. Those are the big ones, though. The problem is they have no idea how to take it. That's why the vast majority of companies don't take any of this $20 billion that's available this year. That's where you come in. Okay. So when I say you get paid to distribute this money, understand what I mean by that is there's $20 billion available at a federal level. That means that our fee share is $7 billion. Okay. Now that's before all of those state programs. Now I pressed Kendra and said, hey, can you get me state level numbers? And this is almost incalculatable. So instead, we'll just say piles more money on top of $7 billion. I'll give you an example though. Michigan alone for the next 3 months, $100 million. For 3 months, Michigan has $100 million available. And there's other people. Georgia's dwarfs that dramatically. California's dwarfs that. That's just Michigan's new program that they've rolled out. So there's all these programs. So let's just say $7 billion in federal plus countless money available at a state level. And every penny of it expires December 31st. Okay. And so now, Kendra, some people might be challenging and saying, well, I thought you just said that these are permanent programs, and they are. Okay. I'll talk about that in a second. But right now, this $20 billion, you have September, October, November, and December to go focus on it. And then it's gone. Okay. Now, what I mean by that, January 1st, it will start over. Now, that's not a gimmick because, Kendra, what I mean is you've got a couple months left now, plus 12 months next year. So here's the thing. Over 16 months, do you want to distribute $40 billion or do you want to wait until January and distribute $20 billion? It doesn't change the fact that really for about the next, Kendra, 90 days when you factor out holidays, September, right, October, November, and December, there's $20 billion in federal money plus countless amounts. I wish I could give you a number in state level money that'll all go away. And this is why I said, Kendra, we can't afford to be doing anything else because the clock is literally ticking on this in the amount of time that you have. Now, the good news is starting January, we'll go hit all these people again. But I don't know about you, but if I have to choose between $7 billion in 2025 or $14 billion over 16 months, I'm going to choose to try to get my share of $14 billion in fees. Okay.
And I want to point out, you said, we'll go hit them again. Well, everybody that you've contacted and contracted with before January is just going to renew for the next year.
Yeah.
So you're already building that residual at that point.
Yeah. So you've got to get out there. So Kendra, we talked about what they should say. You can go look that up on YouTube. Talk for a minute about
they should be talking to.
Okay.
You should recognize
now that we have their attention,
right,
talk about this again.
Manufacturing, fabrication, engineering, design, prototyping. Is there more businesses that qualify for the R&D tax credit? Absolutely. But this is where you should be focused. There's the verbiage that you guys always use in sales, that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Okay, here's your sweet spot. Here's the beginning of understanding what that sweet spot looks like. And then
Nope, don't give away my bullets.
Sorry.
Heather, bring me back up large from it. So that's fine. This list is great. It's manufactured. That's kind of, there's a lot of clients.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to teach you now, though, is I want to teach you the sweet spot of exactly who to go focus on. Okay. And I'm going to teach you really 3 things on who we're looking at. Is that a question you want me to?
Nope, I just wanted to comment there.
So 3 things that I want to teach you how to focus on. I'm going to show you the clients that are going to pay the highest commission. Okay. Let me back up. I'm going too fast for a second on something. When you only have 3 months to give out $20 billion, then the first thing we should all do is get a little picky, right? And, it's not just everybody, because you can't go out there and give out all $20 billion, and get that out there. So we get to be a little picky. So I'm going to teach you how to be picky. First thing I'm going to teach you is the clients that are going to pay the highest commission. Now, how do I know that? Because I've been doing this for over 20 years. I can spot this I can tell you flat out who's going to pay the highest commission. I'm going to teach you who's going to close the quickest. And lastly, I'm going to teach you who no one else is going after. And this isn't for a future segment. It almost sounds like it is, Kendra, but actually I'm going to teach you this like right now in the next few minutes. So get out pen and paper, because I'm going to show you who pays the highest commission, who's going to close the quickest, and who no one else is going after. Kendra, I want to talk about that other one for just a moment. When we say no one else is going after, Jason and I shared last week that you really have the big 10 accounting firms all focusing on about 1.9% of the overall clients that are out there. And what we're going to do, you don't want to go after those clients. Not that I'm afraid of the bidding process, not that we're not as good or anything like that. Why on earth would you go swim in bloody waters when there's blue ocean, to the tune of 99% of companies no one's calling on? So that's who you should be calling on. The other thing is you want clients that close quickly. I'm going to share an example. We had a advisor years ago that wanted us to bid on Boston Gardens for cost seg. And we did, because it was really important to him and he wanted to go through. So we lost the bid. And the thing that I went back and showed him, our price was here. If I could get, how low on the table can I get? So our price was low and we lost the bid because we weren't cheap enough. And the funny thing I showed him is we bid Boston Gardens at the same price as we would the average Holiday Inn. Okay. But here's the difference. It was a 9-month bidding process. We still were too expensive. And yet you could walk in to the average Holiday Inn that only has one property and make more money. So which one do you want? Do you want the client who is, Kendra, takes 5 minutes to close, no one else is going after, and they're going to pay a higher commission? Or do you want to go through an extensive bidding process as
I
they
want
do?
quick and easy.
So Kendra, walk through these next couple of examples here. Whoops, I'm sorry, I overclicked. That's your click.
So the ones that we want you to be focusing on, continuing that idea of there being a sweet spot, is, as we spoke about earlier, engineering. And there is a sweet spot when it comes to numbers. And somebody asked earlier, qualification. So this is going to be broad, but it's going to be anyone who has an annual payroll between 1 and 10 million for engineering. They are great. That's where you want to be focused. Now, if you know somebody who's larger than that and you have a relationship with them and you want to go after them, don't not do that. What we're doing is we're giving you the sweet spot to be looking for. The second one I want to point out is software. We talked about them earlier, how exciting that is, because most of the people within that organization will qualify because of the types of work that they perform. Theirs is also 1 to 10 million in annual payroll. Third one is huge, and it should be no surprise to any of you, but that's going to be manufacturing. And manufacturing has a slightly different threshold, and we're looking at 2 to 20 million. Now, again, if you know someone or you have some type of connection to get in and talk to a manufacturing company that's slightly smaller or slightly larger than this, don't not do that. We're just telling you that there's a sweet spot, and that's where you should be looking and spending your efforts. And for those of you who are thinking, I just can't imagine any company that I could reach out to and would fall within these categories, think back to earlier and how we opened our call. there's that engineering firm. And how much would I make? Because a lot of you are asking that question. How much? What's my percentage? Well, that engineering firm, your percentage would be about $20,000. That software company that we talked about earlier, $63,000. If they met the same criteria, but you get the gist. And then, do you guys recognize these from earlier? So it helps you to wrap your mind around what the reality of a potential client of this nature, this size, this type would mean to you. And that's not including the others. That's not including the state programs. That's not including the other programs that we're going to be looking at for them. So that's where your mindset should be right now. The potential for income is so high and so lifelong with the residual with these potential clients.
So you might be thinking, what do I say? Well, we've shown you where to get that info, and we'll show you some more here in just a second. You might also be thinking, how do I know who's a good client? Kind of excited about this, Kendra. We've been able to, so good question there, Joseph. We'll kind of cover that. I'm going to show you. I
wanted you to know they're right there with us.
Yeah.
Those are the questions we're getting right now.
And so as we do that, I want to show you, a brand new tool that we're excited about.
You guys know that we always take it one step further. So you have everything you need to be successful, but we're sitting back and thinking, what else do we have?
Yeah.
We have these brainstorming meetings. What else can we give the partners and advisors that are going to make them even more successful? Make it just a little easier.
I want to tell you how this came about. Just like the government said, hey, we've got this money called ERC. How are we going to distribute it? Kendra and I had this idea for a tool that would have taken a long time to implement and roll out. And so we looked within our own platform and found a mechanism that existed in the portal for us to give you access to the information. I'm pretty excited to show you this. What we've done is we've gathered all the top qualifying, those things companies that are going to close quickly, companies that are going to pay the highest commissions, and companies that are going to have the least amount of people, say, calling on them, because we want to equip you to be able to do this. And so we're excited. I'll pull this up live on my screen. So Heather, you can flip over to my screen share. So don't go there right now, but on my on your page, there's something here that says find R&D clients in your area. This is right on the toolbox, which I'll have Heather post the link to shortly. But Heather, don't post it yet because everybody loses. Just stay here for a few more minutes. And so as you go through here, you're going to see find R&D clients in your area. This is your one-stop shop for everything that you're kind of asking right now. What do I do? What to say? What to send? Where to send them? How to find people? So what I want to do, Kendra, is start with one topic here. And let's go through on this page. And so you see this thing and it says within your portal,
right,
search for R&D clients in your area. When you click on that, for those of you that are in premium, now I'm going to give you a trick for everybody not in premium. For those of you that are in premium marketing, it's going to take you over to Smart Search, which is actually something we've had for a while, but we've been able to pull in all of these companies into this search mechanism. And I'm really excited about this. This is so nice. So what you're able to do is put in your zip code and select the R&D tax credit. And this is going to go out in your area, and it's going to find not just any manufacturers, but you can fine tune in the list by number of employee ranges or radius. So let's say that I uncheck, maybe I don't want to focus on CPA firms or architectural engineering. Maybe I'm not okay with a certain amount of miles, that kind of thing. Now notice for manufacturers, we have 60 miles, for software, 200 miles. Doesn't matter. You're picking up the phone anyways to reach out to these folks. And I hit update search, and it's going to find me a new 300 people based on that search. Now, Kendra, from there, we can see, okay, I've got a company right here, Advanced. We know that the contact is the CEO. We know they have 31 employees and they're in the software industry. So now let me tell you what these aren't. These are not lead list. In fact, they don't have email addresses. Let me be really clear about this. If you want their email address, pick up the phone and call, find it, talk to this contact and get permission to email them. Okay. If you want bulk email lists, go buy them for pennies a piece. That's not what this is. What this is this is an identification tool in your area where you can fine tune in the things that are important to you. And you can come here, update your search results. It's going to go search for new 300 businesses in your area that meet that criteria. So we can look and say, okay, here's a manufacturing company that has 500 employees. The CEO is the contact. Now we went a step further, that if you want to add them as client cards, okay, you could go through and pick a couple of these, select them, preview your selections, almost like a shopping cart. And people might say, well, how much do they cost per Nothing. It's part of premium. So now I have these, and I'm not going to do it because I don't want to actually do this. But if I click complete, Kendra will actually create client cards, right, for these four that I could then get in and update notes. And so I don't even have to go cut and paste or anything like that. This all happens right at a global level. Now, what if you don't have premium? Some of you might be thinking, well, couldn't I just Google manufacturers, in my zip code? Absolutely. You certainly can. What I will say is different about this, if you're in premium, is, Kendra, this isn't just, you've got a checkbox here that says manufacturers.
Yeah.
But talk about subset codes.
What we did is, this is kind of an engineering. We took our highest qualifiers for a selected number of years, and we kind of backwards engineered them to figure out what made them the high qualifiers. We took that information, and that's what we built this system off of. It's not only just manufacturers, it's manufacturers in your area that X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And it is dependent upon each area. It took us years to build this out. And I'm so glad that it's being used in this format now, because it really wasn't getting the
We actually originally designed this for our internal call center,
right,
over 10 years ago. But what we've been able to do, since we had the search tool, we had the mechanism, is we've been able to take the list of where we take our knowledge and say, we know the best candidate is maybe this tool and die company that, has this number of employees through this number of employees. We fine-tuned it to what we think are the best qualifiers. And then you can go in there and reach out to them. Now, is every contact in here, maybe they don't work here anymore, or maybe they've left, maybe this company's closed. That's list data.
Yeah,
but what this does is, it really takes, if you're in an area like us where there's just hundreds of manufacturers and it's overwhelming, this gives you, maybe I should start here. It narrows the list. And so you just click and you add those. So really excited about
they're
that.
by no means, guaranteed deals, but it's a direction. And I think a lot of us struggle with just getting pushed in the right direction. And that's what this tool allows you to do, is to go in your area, pick something that is tailored to you, whether that be area or type of business or whatever, and get started and ready in a direction. Sometimes we really just get stalled at that starting point, and this pushes you past that. Yeah.
I've seen several questions. How do I know if I'm in premium? Let me show you. It's actually pretty simple. So again, I was on the homepage. I clicked, this is the R&D page, which Ken's going to go through in about 20 seconds. But one of the things here you'll see is like join premium. I'm going to actually do it. So if I click that, join premium, and it comes up and it says, congratulations, you're already in premium, then you're good. If not, it'll take you to a different page and you can join premium. But I want to say again, because I don't want people to blow up the guy like, oh, you're trying to get us for more. No, I'm not. Listen, go Google. Go, can you?
You can all accomplish this on your own with your own efforts, but this is just an additional tool that we're making available to you to make it that much easier. Can you do everything we've talked about today? Can you get those clients that I talked about earlier on, those examples, on your own without premium? Absolutely, 100%. It just takes more effort.
Well, I had somebody a couple months ago type in the chat, I could make my own HTML email. Yes, you absolutely could.
I encourage you to do so.
Let me scroll you down. You could take this text right here, and you could cut and paste it, and you can doctor it up and things like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Or if you're in premium, you can use the ones we've designed. It's just, we have a lot of marketing costs, and it's you sharing in that. But I've said enough about that. Kendra, everyone, premium or not, has access to the page.
Tax page, yep.
And so the way you get there is on your toolbox homepage. You're going to click find R&D clients in your area. and that's going to take you over to here. Kendra, let's walk through slice by slice what's available to everyone, premium or not. And I'll point out the tools that are premium along the way.
So this first section is a short training on the R&D tax credit. You'll recognize it from last month, but it's kind of a shortened, condensed version. If you just want like a quick run through, there's that map I was talking about that shows every area of the country and what type of manufacturing or what type of R&D focused companies you should be looking at if you live in whatever area. So it's a great training available to you. The next section contains what Ryan was just talking about, the special search function, which is a part of premium. And then the next section is just a refresher on who qualifies. I used images because sometimes it just helps us to really see in our mind's eye the type of clients that we're looking for. And that next section is just a quick elevator pitch. It just helps to kind of get you kicked off. You can use this or you can use this to develop your own elevator pitch. The next section, I believe, is just some basic, oh no, this is where to send your clients. So
Let's walk through these.
Yeah, these are amazing. So
here's 3 different tools. Where do I send clients? So the first one's
your
the landing
R&D
page.
focused landing page.
So let's break this down. So this is a great site. R&D page. Now for those, I said I'd point out things that are in premium. If you're in premium, yours has an explainer video on it. Explainer videos cost money.
Awesome.
It's coded to you. When you share it, it links them back to your personal page, your ID and things like that. All those things cost money. Okay. So if you're in premium, then you have a explainer video where I'm going to pitch your client for you. Look at there. I wouldn't want me to pitch my client, but if you want me to pitch your client, I pitch your client for you if you're in premium. But if not, this page still works. It just doesn't have, as much on it. So walk through this a little bit, Kendra.
Yep.
This is client facing, by the way.
To what I used before, this is just kind of the businesses. This is client facing. So you want it to be descriptive to them. You want them to feel like we were writing it to them. And this was designed by my team, a professional marketing team. It's basically to get them interested. Does my business qualify? Do you have employees that?
All the call to actions, by the way, drive to your calculator page, your .me page. Yeah.
And then I think the last section, I'm trying to remember that we have a lot
testimonials
of pages.
on there.
Testimonials. There's a benefit example, misconceptions to try to help answer any questions they might have ahead of time, and then a find my credits and calls to action throughout. And as Ryan said, this all ties back.
Okay. So everyone on this call has the R&D landing page. And if you're in premium, yours has an explainer video. If you're in premium, you also have industry specific landing pages at your disposal.
And for this next 90 days or so,
all of you have a general landing page in the page I just showed, but let me scroll down to the bottom here. Industry specific tools. If you're in premium, there's restaurant pages, hotel pages, retail. But the one we want to focus on, of course, Kendra, is manufacturing. Now, this one is premium only.
Right.
But most of you are in premium. So
and this speaks to a manufacturer. I actually worked with an outside team to develop the verbiage on this page so that it really appeals to U.S. manufacturers. Like you'll notice that some of the words we use are different from verbiage we used on the standard R&D page. And that's because we want the information to appeal specifically to a manufacturing type of an organization.
You say, well, what's the difference between the R&D page and the the manufacturing page is about manufacturers. It also covers multiple credits.
Right. And credits they probably are familiar with. So it makes it, they get more buy-in. They get more acceptability. They know what WOTC is as a manufacturer. So I should talk about that. There's also a great explainer video that's used here as well. And then we just tell them you're like one step away from being able to
look at how
excited
credit. These people are to be taking the R&D tax credit. So this is a 2-minute explainer video. It might be, is it a minute or 2 minutes? Yeah, it's a 2-minute explainer video. Explains exactly what's available and why they're available, things like that. So,
and again, another like little testimonial shows the benefit, and it's actually a quote from a client. And then we walk them through their being able to claim the credit. It's pretty simple, but
all the call to actions lead to you.
Right. And the ability for someone outside of a professional team to develop these, I mean, if you have a marketing background, sure, you can do it. It's going to take you some time. It's going to take you hosting and all of that. So that's why we do this. That's why we do spend and invest so that we can make these tools available to you. The HTML email.
Let's show regular emails first for just a second. So everyone has access to all of these email templates. So you can just come in here and literally cut and paste this. This would have your name, your site, your everyone, premium or not, has
And when you
access
cut
to
and
these.
paste it, it's great because the button actually works and shows up. So it makes you look real fancy.
Yeah. So
there's going to be, okay, with SWAT, I'm just going to give something away. I am releasing an amazing number of flow through continual email content with SWAT only. I'm not doing it as a part of this page. It's too much information, but as a part of SWAT, you're going to have access. There's some pretty cool email template stuff coming up.
Yeah.
When you scroll down a little bit more, I think, or do you want to go up to the HTML?
Well, so if you're in premium, I feel like it's an ad for premium. It's not.
Well, we have to show all the tools that are available to you.
So if you're in premium, we actually do HTML. The way HTML works, just because a lot of you maybe don't, the teal part
those
is
are
what you
instructions.
ignore.
Don't copy
So what
and paste
you do
that.
is you just go like this and you cut and paste. But here's this beautiful email.
This is what it looks like in your email program when you copy and paste it correctly. So it looks like you designed this amazing.
Yeah, it has
with
your
a video
info, your name's peppered throughout, your videos embedded. This is why this stuff costs money, because we have hosting cost and things like that. Now, again, I've seen some people, they say, well, I can create my own cool. Like, I just want deals. Okay. The premium program is a way for you to share in and, in the cost we have of our marketing team and take advantage of some of the other programs. So that's HTML templates. I love these. There's a bunch of them that the team has done, but here's an example of one. So Kendra, we've shown them what to say. We've shown them where to send people. We've talked about what to send people. And then you've got social posts. Social posts are great. And like everything else, guys, there's some free ones. There's a bunch of premium ones. If you click over your premium, you're going to unlock, you know why? It costs money to create this stuff.
Yeah. And again, as part of SWAT, we're going to be releasing all new content as far as social posts. So it'll eventually trickle its way down to the
By the way, I don't want to overwhelm you,
but
click here for more social posts. Listen, if you haven't seen these, you could post every day for quite a while. I'm just going to scroll through these.
And not repeat.
Here's explainer videos. Here's post for cost seg for commercial property owners. Here's industry specific ones, hotels, manufacturers, restaurants, retail, that kind of thing. So
look at those R&D ones. Go back, Ryan, all the way to the bottom.
Here's some R&D ones.
I did some new ones for you guys.
Oh yeah, those look. Oh, I like Ben Franklin. I like Ben Franklin a lot. So there's the manufacturing ones. There's some R&D ones that are on there. So those are all available for you. So Kendra, I think that's. I'm going to cover that. We've got some stuff coming.
There's going to be some cool scripting. I know that I try not to give you guys too much scripting, but sometimes I call them conversation stoppers, but you'll get launched these questions and they're always the same or a version of. We're going to go over that too. As a part of SWAT, it's going to be, in there. And then what we'll do is we'll add it to the bottom of the R&D page as some specific, to overcome anything that's thrown at you. You just get used to the type of question that's asked to you, that there's like 5 of them. Yeah. That come along with the R&D tax credit. And if we can give you the tools and knowledge of what to say when you get thrown one of those that you just like come to a halt, we're going to add those in here later for you.
Let's summarize a little bit. On your Toolbox homepage, Heather, you can go ahead and post the link now, but don't go there. Stay here. Heather's going to post the link for you. On your Toolbox homepage, you're going to click Find R&D Clients in your area, and that's going to give you access to the training if you want it. You don't have to have it. Give you access to find people in your area. You don't have to. You can use Google or your own knowledge. We already know who we're talking to. This is what you're saying. And here's where you're driving them to. Okay. Premium or not, you've all got a lot of stuff that you can go do with that. Heather, you can take us back to slides, please. And so what happens from here is you need to go enroll clients. But there's 2 things I want to leave you with, and then I'm going to get you off the call here. So good question. What is SWAT? SWAT is a group that Jason and I are doing. And let me explain it to you really simple. If you were on Jason and I's call last Thursday, you're in. Was it Thursday? Yeah, it was Thursday. If you were on last Thursday, as part of our group that was on there, you're already in. You already got your invite. It starts in about a week. And what it is Jason and I are going to walk you through. It's a 4-week series, kind of a smaller group format. where we're going to walk you through how to build your R&D business, who to go after, what to say to, like all those kind of things. So if you were on last Thursday's call, you're in. Don't do anything. Don't click on the link Heather's about to post. Not the one she just did for Toolbox, but Heather, go ahead and post the SWOT link. If you were not on last Thursday's call and you're like, what on earth is Ryan talking about? Let me explain. Jason and I are going to walk you through a 4-week series, a 4-part series that we walk you through who to talk to, how to go out there. The reason we do that is because it's so urgent. There's $20 billion available over the next 90 days that you've got to go distribute. Okay. Now you're going to see on there when you follow through, SWOT has a cost associated with it, but it's also refundable. So you show up, you do your stuff. The terms are on there. So go sign up if you want to be part of SWOT. If not, Kendra, like, I don't want anybody to say, oh, I have to join premium to be successful. No, you don't. Oh, I got to be in SWOT to be. No, you don't. Listen, you should do those things. But even if you're not in a position to, did you see everything we just gave you? And here's the other thing I don't want you doing. You can't wait for SWOT to get started. Go sign up, enroll in SWOT if you weren't on last Thursday's call. Get going on that. But after that, you need to go to work. How are you going to go to work? You're going to go use the tools that we just showed you. You can't afford to wait a moment. You're not going to let weeks burn by. Okay. So start working today. If you know a manufacturer or you have one in your area, you know, a software company, you know how to get a hold of one, use the script that we've given you, use the email templates that we've given you to go out there and start driving business to your .me page. Last thing I'll leave you with is that mark your calendar for October 7th for the next broadcast. Put that in your calendar right now. We'll email you 2 weeks before like we usually do. And
I am going to challenge everybody too. And I'll give away a kit in October. Whoever, I want to challenge you to be one of those next client examples in October. I want to have, you know, half a dozen of them lined up that you guys brought in this month that didn't have anything to do with previous. And if you can do that, I'll be more than happy to send you an advanced kit just to get you. So I put that challenge out there. You should be the next example that we show October 7th.
Yeah, absolutely. So get started right now. Don't wait. Kendra, I do want to go back to one last thing. Let's see. I got to click a lot. Sorry. Once I get there, I'll be fine. Where was it? Okay. So remember this? There we go. Right there. Remember $20 billion over really the next 90 days or so when you take out holidays. This is why I started earlier by saying you need to eat, sleep, and breathe R&D. Every dialogue. But in order to do that, you got to understand what it is. And so if you're kind of feeling consumed by that, go watch that YouTube video. Heather, can you, or I think I can, let me post in the comments. I want to post this. Everyone just go watch this right now as a refresher. So it is 40 minutes in. Heather, I don't know if I'm going to post this right. So if I didn't, please like propagate that. I don't know. It's just spinning. So did it post? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So Heather, if I didn't post that to all, or if there's multiple channels or whatever, get that out. Go watch about 40 minutes in. Let me tell you the timestamp so you don't have to mess around. It is 35 minutes in. Fast forward to 35 minutes. You don't need to, hear all the rest. 35 minutes in, I pitch a manufacturer. I show you exactly how to do it. So gain your confidence just by watching that. Don't wait for the first session of SWOT. Don't wait for, anything else. Just go watch that and use the tools that I show you on our iPad walking through, because on that, and I'll tell you what, Kendra and I, of course we rehearsed, but she threw hard stuff at me the first time
we didn't rehearse.
Yeah, that's right.
There was like a whole section where he kind of just threw me a curveball. And I tried to use the comebacks and the responses that I've seen time after time after time when we've worked with clients. So
yeah,
it's
she
not
says
just
things,
me throwing
you
stuff.
might say
yes,
like,
okay.
Yeah, she says things like, oh, I think our CPA already did that. And all the things that you're worried about that you're going to hear, she already threw at me and I already overcame it. And if you want to see how to do that, this should be Heather, for just a moment, flip over to screen share one more if you haven't closed it out. So use this as the way, if you're kind of feeling unconfident, come in here and see how I walked her through that, and how I got her to become a client, what objections she did. And we role play it both ways. So this alone, honestly, Kendra, we could have just replayed this portion and said, go do that. Because even though at the time we weren't talking about R&D, we were walking through what a manufacturing would look like.
And honestly, everybody, I just want to point something out. It's very casual. And we explain why in that video, in that training, but this is the way you need to be interacting with people. They don't want a stuffy, technical, they want casual, they want quick, they want information, but they want it given to them in this way. So take our word for it, go out and try this approach and see what happens for you.
So seal the deal, live role play for any client scenario. That's your marketing team does a good job. I like that. I often don't see this stuff till it's up live and I'm scrolling and all of a sudden I see myself. So this was really good. I like it. So Heather, you can kill the screen there. And thank you, everybody. It's time to get started. Go distribute. This is so much better in my face. I like this even better, Heather. So $20 billion, you need to claim your $7 billion of it over the next 90 days. It's time to get started. Nothing is holding you back. You have every tool set that you could ever need available at your disposal. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you on the leaderboard in just a few weeks.
I can't wait to see what happens. Have an amazing month.